At 13, Pavilion tweeted earlier that Kane Williamson could probably have defended Winterfell all by himself. And he certainly made a big contribution today on The Review. We are joined by Brendan McCullum and, of course, the winning captain, the Black Cats, beating the West Indies by 5 runs. What a phenomenal result and plenty of entertainment. The West Indies always deliver, hey?
Well, they sure do. I think we saw both sides of West Indies today at one stage. We were wondering what was going on in that dressing room, but then we saw the fighting qualities that they possess. And that innings from Carlois, Brathwaite, I think even the man to my left would admit that if they had gone down today, they had seen something pretty special.
Kane, how do you feel after that? It must have been a pretty emotional past few hours.
Yeah, plenty of momentum shifts, and look, it was a brilliant game to be a part of, and I think Brendan mentioned that Carlos had an absolutely outstanding hand in getting them so close after we were able to take wickets throughout the middle to give ourselves a really good chance of winning. But the amount of power that they have in their dressing room all the way down the order meant they were always a threat.
I just have one more question, please. When you went out there after those 2 golden ducks at the start of the day, what was going through your mind and how did you manage to stay so calm?
I was just trying to stick to my plan and look, he swung the ball nicely. Sheldon Cottrell. How can I forget? He's been a destroyer of us on a number of occasions, but he swung the ball really nicely, put us under a lot of pressure, bowled really full to try and get that swing, and got the rewards for it. And then we were just trying to build a partnership from then on, and we knew that having a few wickets down, we had to try and get things together a little bit, even if it meant we weren't scoring quickly.
And we saw right at the end there, Kane, probably a little bit of emotion that we haven't seen out of you for a long time. And obviously it meant a lot to you, especially after being so far in front of the game, to pull that one out of the fire. I guess, and the crowd was outstanding too, wasn't it? Which certainly added to it. I think it was West Indies dominant, without a doubt. There was a lot of cheering when we weren't. But it was such a close game, and I guess these sorts of tournaments can bring those emotions out when guys are putting in everything to try and get their nose across the line, and when it potentially didn't look likely, and then we just get the.
You did have a phenomenal day out there. Give us an idea of what it felt like when you were in the middle.
What it felt like? It felt good, okay. I guess we were just trying to get the job done in terms of build a partnership and get in a position of strength to try and pounce with some of the power that we have in the middle, lower order, and try and get that competitive total.
At any stage leading into this tournament, did you think you'd be sitting where you are at this point in time, undefeated after 6 games and being sitting at the top of the table? Could it have worked out any better today?
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard to go into a tournament and expect those sorts of outcomes because there's so many strong teams here. We know that anybody can beat anybody. We saw in the other game how close that was as well, where on their day, with the variation in the surfaces and the quality of opposition that you come up against day in, day out, anything can happen. So for us, it's always been the focus to try and play our cricket and make small steps forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations once again on the result.
Thank you very much.
See you, bud.
Cheers.
Okay, well, so they are, of course, playing Pakistan next at Edgbaston. So they go on here after this result with some solid confidence.
Yeah, well, the thing I really like the most about the way that New Zealand's playing, and we probably saw the other side of it yesterday from England, is that they didn't rely on much craft. They kind of just went out there and played that same freewheeling style of cricket, which can work for you on many occasions, but sometimes you got to just park the ego a little bit and get the job done. And we've seen that from Kane Williamson in particular. And I think the whole New Zealand batting lineup has performed under pressure so far. They got out of jail today, no doubting that. But there's some work-ons for them that they'll be very happy where they sit currently. Okay, well, thank you so much, Brendan, for your insights and your thoughts on the game. Thank you very much. We are calling up Ian Bishop. Oh, Bishop, it was so much fun listening to you commentating on that Carlois Brathwaite innings.
Well, thank you very much. Easily pleased. Look, it's a sort of a bittersweet for the players themselves. And for Carlos, I'll say this. I've always known that he's had a lot of talent, and what he did in that World T20 final, he can do that. You know, that 48th over, where I think he took 24, is something that he can do, but he can also be a proper player because he's got 3 test match half centuries, I think in 3 or 4 test matches. There was a little bit of fortune, so he's proven himself today with his first international 100. The only thing, I've been in a, if I may be allowed to say this, in my career, a couple of times, not hundreds, but trying to finish a game off close, which I failed to do. And it'll be going through his mind for the rest of his life probably, should he have maybe just tapped that last ball for 1 and take strike at the beginning of the next over instead of trying to win it on that last ball. But I can't be too critical of him at all because he brought the game back from when it was almost dead by dispatching these short deliveries until this. So should he have just rolled the wrist into the outfield, dropped it for 1, and then took the game into the last over, that will be occupying his mind for some time to come.
And how much is that going to disrupt the way he approaches the rest of this tournament?
I don't think, well, let me not presume. Knowing Brathwaite, I think he'll take great heart from 2 wickets in the last over today and this 100. It'll take him a while to get over this disappointment. But on the upside, he will take a great deal of confidence from finally showing himself and the rest of the world that, hey, I can bat at this level because he had 150 before this. So I would take the positive and say, wow, going forward, the guy has proven himself here, and it should, after he gets over the disappointment, kickstart him going forward again.
Trent Boult was absolutely phenomenal out there today. Talk me through what impressed you.
Well, I was telling the story that I was at practice yesterday and I wanted to speak with him to get some tips on skills and swing and stuff, and I was told he wasn't feeling great because he wasn't getting wickets. But to come today and to be able to switch up his length, to bowl short to Hetmeyer at pace, to bowl short to get Ashley Nurse, and then to get Evan Lewis using the short ball with the old ball when there wasn't any swing, I thought showed his great skill, because here's a guy who can swing the new ball, but when it gets old, he's quick enough at 140 to go into the pitch and also change his pace up.
Before that final catch, that ball that went not for 6, probably the other moment of the match was perhaps Hetmeyer's wicket. Lockie Ferguson, absolutely instrumental.
Yeah, it was an over where Lockie Ferguson changed his pace. I think Hetmeyer himself will reflect that as well as he played, he could have just stood tall and knocked that into the leg side for 1, and then Jason Holder would have been protected. Jason Holder looked reluctant to get forward, so great for Lockie Ferguson because that did change things, and then he came back and he got Sheldon Cottrell at a critical time. But again, just analysis, just for analysis. This is only analysis. Hetmeyer, if I just stand as a left-hander, could have said 3 men deep on the leg side, I'll just knock it for 1 and continue my innings. Didn't happen.
Well, one player today who came in, we heard from him now, Kane Williamson, who was very steady in the way he approached the game, didn't have a spinner at his disposal towards the end of the match when he was planning how to attack the West Indies. Is that going to change later in this tournament?
We saw the ball turn for Mitchell Santner here towards the back end. So look, I came into this World Cup expecting wrist spin to play a crucial role. Because of the weather and some of the pitches, it hasn't played as big a role. But we have seen at times Kuldeep Yadav, Zampa got 3 wickets in an earlier game. 1 or 2 of the spinners come into their own. So I think it's a really good luxury to have, and especially as we go deeper into the tournament. Sun's coming out now. If it shines in Old Trafford, it'll be shining everywhere, so the pitches may just get a little bit drier.
Chris Gayle certainly made the fans out here in Manchester happy, and I'm sure there are West Indies fans everywhere today who just relished the opportunity to see him playing like he did. What did you think of it?
Yeah, again, it's bittersweet, right? And I'm not sure how well I can explain that, because Chris played an innings with all his experience, a 100, in Test match cricket, a double 100 in ODI cricket, and an international T20 100. I just wonder if Chris will sit back now and think, we were 50 runs ahead of the game at that juncture when I got out going for that big shot. Could I have done that differently? As happy as they are to see his half century. Again, good things, but questions in the mind of several people with the way that it finished up.
Yeah, unfortunate there for the West Indies. When they look back on today, how will they feel about it? Maybe tomorrow morning or the day after?
Well, I hear what Jason Holder said, but West Indies were basically fighting for their life today. And they bowled well. I thought they bowled very well. They gave themselves a chance by limiting New Zealand. Then they came out and they were like 140 odd, I think, for two, just about 140 for two, going very well. And then they lost 5 for 22 from 30 deliveries. So just basically how the game finished up, you're happy that guys like Carlois, if he can come this way, commiserations, big brother. Carlos is better placed to answer that than I am, so I'll leave that to you.
Carlos, congratulations on a phenomenal individual performance.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
To be honest, it's quite bittersweet. I always wanted to score international 100 and I thought it was close when I was playing Test cricket. And I always get this opportunity to bat with this much balls. There was a do or die. That dressing room is hurting. And I guess for me, happy because obviously you get to 100. Everyone wants to get to 100. It's in a World Cup. But to be so close and to have the destiny of the whole Caribbean in your hands, and then to swim from Brisbane and drown in beach at Brandon's is a little hard to take. But giving thanks, it's 100. Have to give thanks. Can't fly in the face of God. So giving thanks for that. But obviously, would love to get over the line as well.
If I may just ask Carlos then, look, you played fantastically well. Just for the little time you've had since the game is finished, does that last ball play over in your mind in any way, shape or form at all?
Yeah, I asked a few of the boys what they would have done. But I remember distinctly a game against Afghanistan in the World Cup in 2016 when I just chucked and got a single, and then we needed 11 when that ball could have gone for 6 and taken some pressure off. So for me, I was just trying to do what I was doing all the time, just watch the ball and react. And I was telling O'Shane to just believe if it comes down to it that we need to get a single, we get a single, but we won't hit away. So if it comes in my zone, I'll try to get a 6. And Trent Bolt, if he didn't cut his fingernails, we've got it over the rope. So yeah, I don't think I've done anything differently, to be fair, just execution.
When you walked onto the pitch here and there was still so much work to be done in this innings, did you have an inkling, did you have a feeling that you might be here to do something special?
Well, I always want to do something special, to be honest. At that point in time, it was just for me to come in and support Chris and to try to get in. We knew that Evan had to bat. And we knew that if we brought it close enough that he can hit some 6s as well. So for us, it was not to look too far ahead, just get in, play every ball on its merit, and try to take it as deep as possible. We said that if we're there at the end of the 100, how many other balls that we had to face, that we know we come out on top. So the belief was always there, but I never thought in a million years that would come up with 100.
Carlos, I just want to ask you, and this is probably unfair, these questions at this point, but what do you think? I think Emma asked me a good question earlier about you. What do you think this will do for your confidence as a player going forward?
I feel like I
3 Test match half centuries, remember that, and now this.
Yeah, I can't look too far ahead. Obviously 2016 happened and it kind of fell off after that, but I've been working very, very, very hard. It hasn't always materialized in good performances. Sometimes I felt as though I did the dog work for the team as well and didn't always get the results that I wanted. A few drop catches here and there, a few tough spells. To be honest, Bish, all I could do is continue to do what I have to do to prepare, and then hopefully play more innings like this, have more important performances with the ball, and hopefully bring home the game next time.
Let me just give you one of these.
Oh, beautiful. Thank
Well
you so
done.
much, Carlos,
Well
for your
done.
time. Congratulations. Great disappointment for West Indies fans. Let's take a look at where this leaves us after the result we've seen here tonight. After match 2019 of 45, New Zealand at the top of the standings with 11 points, virtually guaranteed of a playoff position. West Indies, unfortunately, still only with 3 points tied with South Africa, and of course net run rate there separating the two. South Africa will be in action against Pakistan tomorrow at Lord's. Thank you, Mr. Ian Bishop. It was an honour, and we will see you tomorrow morning for the openers before that match from Lord's. From us here in Manchester, good night.
The eyes of the sporting world gaze upon Old Trafford in Manchester.
You should call me before
The West Indies take on New Zealand.
'Cause I got options, don't think I don't. There's some good
Close, must be close, surely.
You should call me.
Amazing start for the West Indies.
There's a million other people here tonight. You know I could have a good one if I lie. Yeah, you ain't gonna tell me that's no lie.
Chris Gale strikes back to back World Cup centuries for the New Zealand skipper.